What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, DIY Dale, and we are back in the studio. Saturday at Dale's is a place that you guys already know, where hopefully I can educate you. I will slowly but surely share my life story, and I have a ton of lessons to learn, or I've learned along the way, and I want you guys to learn from them as well. My failures, hopefully you don't make those same mistakes. I've had a bunch of wins, but also I've learned the most from all my failures. So this is episode 3. Episode 3 it's going to be a 3-part series on how to leave your job and start your own company. That's what I've done. I've been pretty successful at it. I wouldn't say that I have replaced my old corporate job salary yet, but it sure is on the way and headed in the right direction. So this first one is all going to be about mindset and mentality. And what I mean by that is you guys really need to understand that you can't just get up and leave your job. There's a mindset, there is a mentality that you have to be successful. So, first off, let's talk about excitement with a new idea. So many people, including myself, you have this idea, oh man, I think it's going to be a great idea. You get all these good feelings going on, and you think you could start a business. But can it make you happier when doing it than your current job? And we're not talking temporary, right? We are talking about leaving your career to start a whole new career. It's never too late, but can you do this forever? And a lot of people think, oh, it seems easier than my day-to-day job. I promise you it's not. Running my business and also the second business, it's not easier than my old job, not by a mile. Another thing people talk about is it seems profitable. Yeah, everything seems profitable until you start adding in all the expenses, like workman's comp, a lawyer, an accountant, taxes, insurance. Guys, to run a legitimate business is not as easy as people think. So I want to mentally prepare you for it, and let's see if we can make that jump with you. And if not, hopefully I prevented you from leaving a great corporate or great job in general that you thought you hated it, but then you realize, man, it takes so much to start my own company that, it's just not for me. There's a couple questions you really need to ask yourself. Number 1, can you replace your living standards with your own company? I see living standards, not paycheck, for a reason. Guys, I made up to $160,000 a year at my old pharmaceutical sales job. Yes, I did medical sales on the pharmaceutical side for 7.5 years. I would like to say I was very successful at it because I stayed with one company that entire time. That's very rare in this industry or that industry. Usually people are with a company 1, 2, maybe 3 years and then move on. I had stock share that was awarded to me. 4 years, they matured. So yeah, I was in it for the long haul. I was very patient. But at the end of the day, I want you to think about the things that you currently have. 401k, health insurance. I had a car allowance. And most important of all during that time period when I was doing it was we had a stock purchase program. So I was buying stock at a discounted rate, throughout the year when this specific window was open. So I was making all this money, but my lifestyle was not equal to that. So I want you guys to think, if you make a good amount of money now, are you able to take a step back? Because I was. Guys, I went from making $160,000 a year to about $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year trying to start my own company, and that's not easy. I took a $40,000, $50,000 pay cut, but at the end of the day, I didn't struggle because I never really overspent. I never overextended myself. Those are things that I really want you to think about before leaving your job. My salary was originally $90K, and I knew I was able to live on that $90K, not included that $50,000, $60,000 in bonus and all the other things, right? During that sales time, every dollar wasn't promised to me after $90,000. I had to earn it, right? So you have to realize that going out and starting your own company, you have to earn every single dollar. There's nothing guaranteed. It's taken me 3, 4, I've been out with the company 4 years now, full time. roughly. Started it 7 years ago. So my goal was to scale it and eventually go in full time. I run the field operations side of things. I love being out there. I love swinging a hammer. I love leading young men. Hell, if we hired a girl, great. I don't give a shit who we hire. Just, can you do the job? Are you willing to listen and learn? And that's important to me. My buddy Chris has been with me pretty much since the inception. He came on, probably within a couple weeks after we started and took over that role. So he ran the company pretty much while I was, doing pharmaceutical still. But what I wanted to get back to was, can you take the money you're making currently at your job and more than likely take a pay cut and survive on that? Because if you already say no, then there's no reason to leave, right? It takes a lot of discipline to just cut costs and not buy all the extra shit. Another thing that people don't realize is accountability. A lot of people watching these videos and watching this cannot hold themselves accountable. And you think you can, but guess what? You're getting up every morning because you have a job to go to. And if you don't show up at that job, your boss is on your ass. You're not getting a paycheck. You're not going to put food on the table. You're not going to have a roof over your head. But there's always somebody holding you accountable to get there, to do things. Can you be your own boss? Nobody but yourself is holding you accountable. Nobody's poking you and saying, come on, you can do better. I know you're better than this. Coaching you. You're on your fucking own on an island. And I promise you, if you can't do those simple things, you will not succeed. You will not survive on your own. There's really not many people to lean on. You can lean on good friends if you have them. But if they're not running their own businesses, it's really going to be hard for them to give you a perspective that you need. There's not really a lot of people you could go to when you have a bad day too, right? As an owner, if I have a bad day, I can't show that to my team. If I have a bad day, oh, boo-hoo, boss, my numbers aren't great. I need help selling. Who the fuck is helping an owner? Nobody. There's nobody for us to cry to. So I want you to get that in your head that when you have a bad day, you can't go to the boss above you and explain why. It's just you have to make it happen. Let's start off with the easiest decision as a business owner. Getting out of bed at a reasonable time, guys, and getting shit done. This whole you could get out of bed mentality whenever you want and own your own company. Yeah, that's after you put about 10 or 15 fucking years in of 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And then you're enjoying the fruits of your labor. But that's not coming at the beginning, I can tell you that. You're getting up early. Hell, I'm 7 years in at the end of the day, and I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning. And I'm working out from 5 to 6. I'm shooting emails from about 6 to 7. I'm on a job site at 8:30 till about 5 or 6 at night. If I can go do an estimate, I do. I usually go to the smaller ones. Chris does all the estimating on the larger side, dealing with customers, doing all the managerial stuff. I enjoy being out there building shit. Can you build out your entire day? No, not just a few hours. Oh, I've sent some emails. Oh, I've made a couple calls. Guys, you're thinking about leaving an 8, 10-hour job 40, 50 hours a week. You need to replace that 40, 50 hours a week with your time at your company. There's no reason you shouldn't be working 5 days a week. Reality is 6 days a week, 7 days a week. There's not a day I don't look at my phone or answer it or shoot an email or text regarding work as a business owner. It's just not fucking possible. Do you have the knowledge and ability to market yourself? Guys, this is big. There's so many people that come up with a cool idea, but can you market it? Clients aren't just going to fall in your lap. I'll tell you that right now. You eat what you kill, and you need to go out and hunt, right? So whether it's making cold calls, knocking on doors, networking, marketing, all those things you need to recognize that you have to market yourself to grow your business. Here's another one, and this is one of those things that a lot of people can't deal with on a regular basis. Failure. Being rejected, telling you suck. Your product sucks. Do better. Shut the fuck up and listen. I don't give a shit. Guys, this is real. When I was out there in medical sales and I would meet doctors, one of the best things or best advice that a doctor gave me was, Dale, sometimes if you just slow down and you say, hey, you know what, I'll find the answer for you, or let me get back to you. Those are big things, because I'd rather not lie and fail than just be honest and say, I don't know and I'll get back to you, right? But at the same token, I've had so many people that I've marketed our products to where they're said, get fucked, you're too expensive, you're a ripoff, you're a disgrace to the industry. Guys, I'm in construction and home remodeling now, and there's people that say we're too high all the time. Can you take that and turn that around and go, okay, how can I still make this sale? How can I turn this into a positive? What did I do wrong? Can I really look back, recalibrate, and then go after it again? Guys, that's important, right? You always start it as a side hustle. This is something I do want to talk about. You can't just jump in without having the proper procedures, policies in place. Start the company as a small scale side hustle. Okay, that's going to give you enough time to kind of build some equity in it, learn a little. If you fail, you'll still have a job. Also, you're going to take money that you're making and dump it into your company. Okay? So here's a little background story. When I was doing pharmaceutical sales, we used to have these little sales competitions where you could win points. And if you're wondering the company I worked at, it was Horizon Therapeutics. They ended up getting sold to Amgen for a couple $1 billion. Yes, billion. So I cashed out a lot of stock a year before that sale. But what I'm getting at is we would have these little competitions where we could turn them in for vacations. We could turn them in for tons of cool shit. Headphones, Ray-Ban sunglasses, tennis shoes. I used to get Home Depot cards. I used to get Home Depot cards and buy tools because my long-term plan was to leave anyway and start my own remodeling company. So that's what I did. When I would win competitions and win these cards, I would turn them in or win these points, I would turn them in for cards, and I'd get tools. I'd send them back to Cleveland because I was running a territory in Michigan at the time, and I was trying to start my collection of tools to build my business. I could remember going to Home Depot, and I don't know, I had a fuck ton of cards. I don't know, probably like a couple grand worth. And man, it was just so fun to just pick out tools for the first time. And this is what I really wanted, and this is what we need. I think this will do better. So when you're scaling and you're utilizing the company that you work out, don't steal the time. That was one thing that I was big at. Don't steal the time at the company that's paying your bills right now. Because if it doesn't work out and your side hustle fails, you still need an income. And maybe they give you a second lifeline, and they recognize that you're really working hard and things just aren't going anywhere. So you can't fund your passion, you can't fund your side hobby, you can't fund your hustle without your current job. So just remember that. Long-term scalability, you need to think about this before even leaving your job. Can you scale the company vertically? Okay, can you kind of continue to do the same things within that company? Home remodeling with us is, hey, we're going to do kitchens, bathrooms, basements, home additions, things like that. Can you add new products? Can you add new features? Can you work with people within that market, right? So the long-term scalability is a thought process that you need to understand before even leaving your current company, before even starting is, hey, can I get out there and even grow this thing past 6 months, past a year, 2 years, 3 years? Guys, this is your next move. This is your hopefully long term, I'm going to retire or I'm going to build an empire and give it to my kids, or I'm going to sell it to a private equity firm, right? You have to be able to survive long term. I'll tell you this, don't rely on your friends to buy from you. In the last 5 years, my direct circle of friends, I can tell you right now, I've maybe done 1 or 2 jobs for them, and they haven't even been big jobs. And it's crazy because everybody wants you to do great. Everybody wants you to win. Everybody will fucking root for you until you're doing better than them. And, I've had friends that literally had me quote their shit multiple times, and I've never done the work, and they said, I'm too expensive. But somehow, 365 days a year, I've been doing this, and people are willing to pay for my service, and they leave us good reviews, and they see the value. So it's one of those hard pills that you need to swallow, that don't let it divide you and your friends if they don't hire you, but you can't rely on them to drive your business. It's just not going to work. Another thing I want to talk about is don't tell anybody, right? Don't tell anybody within the company you're working for, hey, I'm thinking about starting this, and this is kind of my idea or concept, and I really hope it works, and my goal is to leave. Guys, you have to realize companies hire ambitious people. When I got hired into that sales force, there were so many ambitious people doing side hustles as we grew our income. Eventually what happens is some of those people leave, and that's okay. And some will stay and be able to manage both. But there's a lot of companies that will not put up with that shit, right? They want ambitious people, but they don't want ambitious people to be successful within their organization. If you're going to spend a bunch of extra time, they want that spent within their organization, which to me is mind blown. I encourage my guys, if they've had an idea and they want to pursue it, go right ahead. The hardest thing with owning a home remodeling company is you get sometimes an ambitious kid that thinks it's easy, that does great work, and they want to leave and start their own company, and that's going to happen. And I could look at it 2 ways. I could be pissed off and fuck you, and you left me and I trained you, or you could go, you know what? I trained them enough to feel confident to leave. I put them in a position where they can leave. They feel confident that they can do the job. I've trained them enough where they understand the scope of work. They've seen me work with customers. They understand how to communicate with them. They kind of know the cost of things. So that's how you got to look at it. I personally help my employees make side money. I've done a side job and I said, hey, let's go do this. Or, my employees had a side job and he called me for help. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you could make that work, great. I want you to understand all these mentality issues that you're going to battle before you even start your own company. So please take notes, understand and process what you're getting yourself into. And if you guys genuinely believe in yourself, if you went through this checklist with me and you said, yep, I could do that. Wow, I never thought about that. The big thing that I could, I guess, spit back out at you is the holding yourself accountable. Waking up early, staying late, filling an 8-hour day, filling a 10-hour day. That is not easy. Trust me, it's not, but you have to do it. And you have to figure out ways that when there is dead space, what else can I do to be productive? What else can I do to grow my company? Guys, if you made it this far, I appreciate it. Video 2 is going to be about implementation, which means, guys, you've already made that decision to start your own company. So now what we're going to do next is we're going to work on implementing that. Implementing anything from marketing strategies, implementing anything from a business plan. But guys, I really appreciate you. Stay tuned. Stay positive. Write in the comments any ideas you have. Tell me your success stories. Tell me your failures. Ask me for help. Please let me know how you can help me. And we'll talk to you guys soon on video 2 implementation.